Welcome to the World War II era. We're going to discuss the brutality and history of the infamous Adolf Hitler on April 20, 1889. In Austria's Braunau am Inn, Adolf Hitler was born. He was well known for becoming the Nazi Party's leader and starting the Second World War in July 1921. Adolf Hitler took over as party leader of the Nazi Party from Anton Drexler. And soon after, he was given the title of Führer, which means leader.
There are a total of 9 phrases in this project, the first of which is about the Hitler family, and the next 7 phrases are the early years of Hitler's life.
First, Hitler's family. Second, early life of Hitler's childhood. Third, Hitler's political ascent. Fourth, Hitler enters a new era in political history. Fifth, Hitler engages extensively in politics. Sixth, Hitler's rule over Germany. Seventh, Hitler's end. Eighth, effect of World War II on Jewish life. Ninth, relationship between the address chapter and World War II. A special note for listeners: we are only going to highlight about the important content of this PPT, so please read the PPT pages for more and accurate information.
This page discusses some important years in Hitler's life. Hitler was born in 1889, and significant years are as given below. 1914, when he joined the army. 1918 was the end of World War I. 1919, he entered politics. In 1921, he rose to party's chairman. In 1923, he was sent to prison. He wrote Mein Kampf in 1925, and his party grew to be Germany's second largest party by 1930. He acquired the office of Chancellor in 1933, and in 1934, he combined it with that of president. Let's discuss about the Hitler's family now, shown as Hitler's family tree.
Before Adolf Hitler's mother. Hitler's father, Alois Schicklgruber, had 2 more marriages. He wed his first wife Anna Glassel-Hohr, who lived from 1823 to 1883. In October 1873, soon after the marriage in 1880, Anna became disabled. She requested a divorce and passed away 3 years later. Sadly, Anna and Alois never had children together. Second wife of Alois Hitler was Franziska Metzelsperger. He married Franziska when she was 19 years old, and they had 2 children together. Franziska passed away at the age of 24 from TB. Shortly after Franziska's passing, Alois married Claire Palsy, his housekeeper and Adolf's mother. Together, Claire and Alois had 6 children. Half of them passed away before becoming 2 years old. Adolf and his younger sister Paula were the only survivors to reach adulthood. Adolf was 19 years old in 1908 when Clara passed away from breast cancer. Now we will discuss about what happened to all the siblings of Hitler.
Despite having 5 siblings who are all of the same blood, Hitler's older siblings all passed away as infants. Gustav Hitler was born on May 17, 1885. He died around 7 months later from diphtheria. Ida Hitler, who died from the same ailment less than 2 years after her birth on September 25, 1886. Otto Hitler was born and passed away in the autumn of 1887. Adolf's sibling Edmund was born in March 1894. But he passed away from measles at the age of 6. Paula Hitler was born in 1896 and lived until her death from natural causes in 1960. Adolf's youngest sister, who was the only one of his siblings to reach adulthood, was born in 1896 and died from a stroke in 1960. Adolf's father had kids from a previous relationship, Werl Ysr and Angela Hitler. They were Adolf Hitler's half-siblings. Both of them had children, some of whom are still living now. Leo Rudolph, Adolf's nephew who died in 1977, and Adolf's nieces Alfred who died in 1931. The children of Adolf Hitler were Alexander, Louis, and Brian Stewart Houston. They were not included in the photograph because of space restrictions. As of 2018, their great-nephews Angela and his half-sister are still alive. Heiner was born in 1945 as the illegitimate son of Adolf Hitler's niece. Peter Robel is the son of Leo Robel and an engineer who is currently retired. He lives in Austria. Some reports claim that the family's survivors vowed not to get pregnant again and to end the Hitler lineage.
Now let's discuss about the early life of Hitler.
This is what happened in Hitler's starting life. For some times he lived a lonely and isolated life, earning a precarious livelihood by painting cards and announcements and drifting from one external hotel to another. He wished to study art, for which he'd some faculties, but he doubly failed to secure entry to the Academy of Fine Trades. Hitler formerly showed traits that characterized his afterlife loneliness and closeness, a bohemian mode of everyday actuality, an abomination of cosmopolitanism and of the transnational character of Vienna. Hitler dislocated to Munich in 1913, when he was screened in February 1914 for Austrian military service. He was supposed unfit due to inadequate physical vigor. He served as a headquarters runner throughout the conflict, and for his valor in battle, he was awarded the Iron Cross, second class, in December 1914 and, then, the Iron Cross, First Class in August 1918. He madly ate the conflict, seeing it as a welcome respite from the vexation and pointlessness of everyday life. He set up discipline and fellowship to be fulfilling, and his faith in the heroism of combat was strengthened.
Let's discuss the Hitler's rise in fields of politics now.
Following Germany's defeat in World War II, there was a social upheaval in the country. Hitler was discharged from the hospital and began working in politics in Munich in May and June 1919. He became a political agent for the German Workers' Party in Munich in 1919. He was given responsibility for the Nazi Party's propaganda in 1920, when the party changed its name to the National Socialist German Workers' Party, and he quit the army to focus on strengthening his position there. The party flourished in this favorable environment. The harsh terms of the peace agreement and the public's resentment over the war's defeat caused economic problems and increased public unrest, due to Bavaria's history of separatist and widespread disapproval of the Berlin government. This was especially pronounced in the region. A few army officers unsuccessfully attempted to install a right-wing government in March of 1920. Munich also served as a meeting place for political assassins of the Republic as well as former military men, who were unhappy with their service, as well as members of the Freikorps, which was created in 1918 by German army soldiers, who were hesitant to return to civilian life. A large number of them joined the Nazi Party. The most notable of them was Ernst Röhm, a quarter army command staff member, who had joined the German Workers' Party before Hitler and who greatly supported in advancing Hitler's rise within the party. He was the Bone who enlisted the strong armed groups that Hitler employed to guard party meetings, communists and socialists, and use violence for the sense of power it conveyed. Under Röhm, these outfits were completely formed in 1921 to establish the SA, a private party army, the Bavarian administration, which reckoned on the original army command to maintain order, and which implicitly approved aspects of Röhm's terrorist ways, also granted Röhm protection. Hitler was canny enough to completely capitalize on favorable circumstances that allowed the little party to develop. When he first joined, he discovered that the party was hamstrung, devoted to a platform of nationalist and socialist. He was doubtful of its objects and divided in its leadership. His particular ambition and his propaganda bothered the other party leaders. Hitler responded to their attempts to control him by hanging to abdicate, and as the future of the party depended on his capability to raise plutocrat and manage hype, his opponents capitulated. He assumed leadership of them in July 1921 and had nearly unrestricted authority.
Let's discuss the Hitler's advancement in politics now.
Through the party publication, the Völkischer Beobachter, as well as meetings, whose attendance snappily increased from a many to thousands, he engaged in grim propaganda. Johann Dietrich Eckart, who served as Hitler's instructor, Alfred Rosenberg, Rudolf Hess, Hermann Göring, and Julius Streicher were among the pious Nazi leaders he drew because to his glamorous personality and dynamic leadership. Hitler believed that ethnical, public, and individual inequality was a part of an incommutable natural order, and that the Aryan race was the original creative group of humans. Hitler believed that people were the Abecedarian unit of humanity. Furthermore, he allowed that the purpose of the state was to serve the people. This standard was used to estimate everything morality and verity, whether it served the interests and preservation of the Volk. It made the same hypotheticals about mortal equivalency that Hitler did and pretended that legislative processes could determine what was stylish for the Volk.
Hitler engages extensively in politics.
When anti-Semitism became Hitler's most fervent and pervasive belief is a subject of discussion among historians. Internal strife caused the Nazi Party to stagnate while Hitler was incarcerated. A currency reform had brought about economic stability, and the Dawes Plan had reduced Germany's World War I reparations. In 1926, Hitler effectively cemented his position within the party against Gregor Strasser. Hitler's most significant accomplishment was the founding of a really national party, whose supporters and voters were from a variety of social levels and religious groups. He was skilled at utilizing those who attempted to use him, as evidenced by his interactions with Hugenberg and industrialists. Hitler was elected Chancellor of Germany in 1932 after defeating President Paul von Hindenburg and winning 36.8% of the vote on the second round of a presidential election. He declared that he would only accept the chancellorship despite a decrease in the Nazi Party's support in November 1932. Unceasing propaganda combined with the government's failure to alleviate conditions during the Great Depression led to the Nazis' political support steadily growing. The party grew to be the second largest in the nation. Let's discuss the Hitler's political dictatorship now. By the end of 1941, nearly every nation in Europe and a sizable portion of North Africa were a part of Hitler's German Third Reich Empire. He came up with a plan to exterminate Jews, Slavs, Gypsies, homosexuals, and political opponents by forcibly transporting them to concentration camps, where they were tortured to death in order to produce his ideal. Approximately 11 million people were reportedly slaughtered by the Nazis under Hitler's rule. The concentration camps for Polish children in the central Polish city of Lodz was renamed Litzmannstadt by the Germans, which was set up 76 years ago on December 1, 1942. Stands out in the German camp system being the only one exclusively for children in all the territories occupied by Nazi Germany. Their delicate bodies were fully exposed to a brutal camp system that was designed to punish, exploit, and dehumanize. Cruel deeds of Hitler are as follows. He was unkind to young children. He was a killer of millions of people. He made thousands of wives widowed, children orphan. He treated individuals of other castes unfairly, though he hated Jews and other castes, and is openly rationalized towards them. And the most important thing, Hitler's Holocaust enabled the mass murder of at least 6 million European Jews. Another 5 million targeted groups perished alongside in concentration camps, gas chambers, or at the hands of Hitler's barbaric forces, as demonstrated by the 10 horrendous facts about Adolf Hitler. People should never forget Nazi Germany's actions so that they may never be repeated. He murdered 6,636,235 Jews out of a total population of 10,431,570. Consider the unjustifiable Jews who are not even connected to World War II.
Let's see how the Hitler's life ended.
Adolf Hitler, who ruled Germany as Chancellor and dictator from 1933 to 1945, shot himself in the head in the Führerbunker in Berlin on April 30, 1945. Eva Braun, his brief wife, also committed suicide by eating cyanide. They were carried to the Reich Chancellery garden, doused in gasoline, and set ablaze that afternoon as per Hitler's prior written and oral orders. They were taken up the stairs and out the emergency exit of the bunker. The announcement of Hitler's passing was made on German radio the following day.
Let's discuss the impact of World War II on life of Jews.
Comparison between life of Jews after and before the World War II. The goal of the Holocaust, or Hasho in Hebrew, was to exterminate all Jews living in Europe. 6 million Jews were killed deliberately and with abhorrent brutality during a broadly coordinated Nazi Germany-led operation. World War II had a significant impact on Jews and the general population, who did not fully comprehend the scope of the final solution until after the war. While on the other hand, after the war, Jewish identity today can appear fragmented, muddled, and limitless. In the decades following World War II, Jews in the US prospered and a number of movements gained appeal. Some American Jews have participated in a global trend toward religious extremism. In non-Orthodox communities, the traditional division between men and women has been abolished.
Hitler's discrimination against Jews and how it is related to the chapter The Address from the book Snapshots.
The Address by Margot Minko is a short novel that explores the human plight after war. The narrative demonstrates the dehumanizing effects of war on people. Mrs. Dorling was shocked to find the narrator at her door and even claimed not to recognize her when the narrator went to her house to retrieve the items associated with her mother's memories. It destroys the more refined emotions of love and compassion and makes people ruthless and self-centered.
The creators of this project are as follows. Rambir Khurana edited and created the PowerPoint presentation, and Krik Garg, who edited the sound and condensed the content in the PPT. Please give a round of applause for the team's dedication to the project and for their hard work. So, in the end, this is all about this project. Thank you for your precious time given to our project. Hope you like it. Thank you once again.